What is going on, guys? Welcome into the late night stream. I do apologize. I wanted to be on here a little bit earlier, but I've had a busy past couple of days, and today I haven't really had the chance to sit down and do anything for YouTube. But we are here. Obviously, something big happened today. So 55 of you in here, a late night stream. Appreciate all you guys. Kayla, what's going on? DLM, Pat, the Gumby. Hey, we're going to get into a ton of different stuff because obviously there was the Jordan Davis news that dropped today. But that's just the start of it. Things are going to heat up here in the next couple of days. It's free agency is about to be it's about to kick off, and there's going to be some big changes I think coming. But this Jordan Davis move is just the start of that. So again, I appreciate all you guys for being in here. Let's pull up the report. So this obviously came out early this afternoon that the Eagles made their first big move of this free agency period, which is to extend defensive tackle Jordan Davis. And you can see here with Jordan Schultz with the report. He says, breaking, the Eagles and star defensive tackle Jordan Davis are finalizing a 3-year, $78 million extension with $65 million guaranteed per sources, a massive $26 million per year deal done by Win Sports Group for Davis, making him the highest paid nose tackle in NFL history. So initial reactions to that, so I'll tell you guys, when I saw this news, I was sitting at a car place waiting for my car to finish getting inspected. So I was just sitting there, saw this news, did a post real quick. But my initial reaction was, number one, awesome that we got Jordan Davis locked up for the long term. But two, it's kind of a lot of money, it seems like. I don't think I really thought about what a Jordan Davis extension was going to look like. I mean, making him the highest paid nose tackle in NFL history is pretty crazy because, I think going into last year, I think a lot of people were saying that Jordan Davis was a bust. I wasn't one of those people. I thought that, my opinion on Jordan Davis going into this past season was he was very, very good in the role that he was playing, just being a run stopper. He didn't play that many snaps. But he came in, ate up double teams, allowed the linebackers to just fly around, make plays in the run game. But Davis really earned himself a ton of money this year, maybe more money than he earned some of the most money of anybody around the league with how he was able to play this past season. I honestly think he was arguably the best player on the Eagles defense, just consistency wise all season long, at least in the front seven. Because, you got Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. They were obviously amazing first team all pros, but Jordan Davis was right there with them. There were some games where he was completely taken over. He was unbelievable. And he was a huge piece of this defense, not just with his play on the field, but also just in terms of his leadership, the energy that he brings. I think that this extension not only shows you how much the Eagles value him as a player, but also just as a person and a presence in that locker room. Because again, they really do. I think they view him very highly just in terms of his character and his leadership and the kind of person he is. And I'm going to show this clip later from Hard Knocks that really I think shows you part of that. But, congrats to Jordan Davis. I mean, very well deserved. Definitely happy to get him extended for the long term, even if initially it's wow, it's a lot of money. But this is going to save the Eagles money actually this offseason and create a little bit of cap space. So I'm curious before I move on to anything else, because I got a bunch more stuff to talk about with the Davis move and all this other stuff. But my opinion, I like the move. My initial reaction was, wow, that's a lot of money. But still, I don't think that I'm not upset about this whatsoever. I think it's a great move. I'm happy to have Jordan Davis here for the foreseeable future. And I think this is one of the moves that they had to get done. I think, going into free agency, it was crucial to get some of their guys wrapped up for the long term. And Davis, his extension is going to create a significant amount of cap space. So I like it for a lot of different reasons. Let's see what some of you guys have to say about this, though. Midas says, Big JD got that big money and very well deserved again. I mean, he was amazing this past year. Carlos says, I've been watching this kid channel since before he had the chin hairs. Dude, I've been doing this for what, 5 years now? 6 years? Yeah, man. It's been a while. We're gonna get into the AJ stuff. Carlos says the Rams game, JD showed out. JD absolutely took over that game. Won us that game, man. Won us that game at the very end with the block field goal. He was awesome. Awesome. He was awesome all season. But it says JD most definitely got snubbed of a Pro Bowl / All Pro. I 100% agree with you. Like Jalen Carter, and we're going to talk about Jalen Carter a bit later as well. No offense to Jalen Carter. It's just like based on last season solely, Jordan Davis 100% deserved to make the Pro Bowl over Carter. So, yeah, man, I agree with that. Albert Torres says, as far as being a real Philadelphia Eagle, he's the Gen 2 BG. That's a good point because, early in Brandon Graham's career, people were saying that he's a bust. And it's kind of been the same thing for Jordan Davis his first 3 years, right? But then he balls out in his fourth season and he gets extended. So super happy. I mean, again, I'm super happy about it. Super excited to get Jordan Davis here for the foreseeable future. And also in terms of the Brandon Graham comparison, they kind of bring some of the same energy. I mean, I think BG's a little more high energy, but yeah, man, I definitely can see that. Rich Master says, you Philly fan 21, what's going on? What's up, bro? I appreciate you being in the stream. Midas says, great move in Howie man we trust. He's getting the stove hot to cook. Yep. Again, love the move. Pat Clary says, do we have enough money? I'm not going to pretend like I know everything that goes on with the salary cap. I mean, I feel like I've tried to break things down on my channel in the past the best I can when it comes to specific moves and just how that affects the cap. But I mean, your guess is as good as mine, guys. Like, I don't know everything about the cap. All I know is if Howie Roseman is making this move, like, safe to say there's a pretty good chance it ends up panning out. Well, let's pull up some of this other stuff. Obviously, again, Davis gets this huge extension. But there's some more. Let's look at his performance from last season again, because like I said, I think legitimately he was probably the Eagles' best player in the front seven all season long. And I think, again, he got snubbed from the Pro Bowl. Maybe he was a little underrated at times. And I've already seen people like, well, $26 million a year for Jordan Davis. And again, initially my reaction was, wow, that's a lot of money. But when you look at it, it's like, if this is how he's going to play moving forward and he maybe even gets better from this, like, I think it's well worth it. So you see here, Brendan Deeg tweets out, Jordan Davis 2025 season, 63 tackles on design runs, first among defensive tackles, 6 batted passes, first among defensive tackles, 9 TFLs, fourth among defensive tackles, 28 pressures, career high, and 4.5 sacks, career high. Only 26 years old, and the best is yet to come. Well-deserved extension. Yeah, again, very well-deserved. Like, I think he was definitely snubbed from that Pro Bowl. Yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say that I haven't already said. It's a very well-deserved extension. Super happy to have him here. And it's also, financially speaking, it says $26 million a year for the 3-year extension. But you also have to remember that he picked up his 5th-year option before this past season. So in reality, you have him for the next 4 years. And let me pull this up because I have this as well. It's around $22 million per season for the next 4 years for Jordan Davis. So if you look at it that way, it's a little bit more doable. It's a little bit more affordable. And where is this? Where's this tweet? Yeah, here it is. So Anthony DeBona says it right here. The Eagles utilized the 5th-year option as part of the contract extension for Jordan Davis, similar to what Philadelphia did when Devontae Smith signed his new deal in 2024. Davis' 4-year deal is worth $90.9 million, $22.7 million per year, which ranks 10th among interior defensive linemen. So, again, if you look at it from that angle, you're kind of getting like a little bit of a deal there. And again, if Davis is only going to get better, this is definitely going to be a steal of a contract. Plus, how he's going to structure it in a way where the big cap hits aren't until the end of the deal. And by that point, you're probably reworking things anyway and just continuing to minimize those cap hits, kick the can down the road. Howie doing what Howie does. Like, I think this is a great move. I really do. And I love Jordan Davis. He's a great player. And it's not just the player, it's the person and the leader that he is. And I want to play this clip because there is so from Hard Knocks last year, there's this clip of Jordan Davis talking to, I think, the strength and conditioning coach. Can't remember his name, but I think it just shows you like another one of the reasons why the Eagles view Davis so highly, because one of the big things that we talked about with Davis throughout his entire career is his physical condition, the shape that he was in. And that was one of the big knocks on Davis for a long time is, oh, he's out of shape. He's fat. Like he can't play a certain number of snaps. He really worked very, very hard. Starting, I believe, in the 2024 season, just to really get in shape. And I think, we had heard like pretty much every single offseason. Like, I feel like one of the main offseason storylines these past like 4 years has been, oh my gosh, look at Jordan Davis. He looks so slimmed down. But last year, like you could really see it. And then, watching him this year, it was evident how hard he worked to get in shape. So that's a huge credit to him. Let's play the clip here. I'm going to try and I'm going to have to like pause it periodically because I don't know if this is going to hit me for copyright. So we're going to like try and avoid that. But again, I think this just goes to show you the kind of person, the kind of character that Jordan Davis has, and just why getting this extension done was so important to them.
I want to be who I am. I want to genuinely be the best person I can be. And that's why I'm so hard, like, going so hard in terms of, like, how my body's changing and my weightlifting and my conditioning and stuff like that, because...
Sorry, guys, I have to do this because I don't want to get copyrighted, but I want to play this clip.
I want to do this for me. I want to look sexy. I want to be skinny. I want to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, selfishly. But, like, at the same time, like, the more that I do...
I'm, like, paranoid right now.
do that, and the more that I see progress and I see results, I'm even more motivated. And is that...
Again, it's that mentality on top of just how he played last year that I think gives them confidence that he's only going to continue trending up. Because, I remember when the Eagles signed James Bradberry to, that big contract after the 2022 season, after he'd only had one good year for them. And obviously he fell off a cliff after that. But number one, he was a lot older. I believe he was getting injured, I think, that season. I know he had the serious injury in 2024 that he didn't even play at all. And also it was a completely different defense. But like stuff like this, like Davis talking this way and just the work ethic that he showed this past year, getting in shape and really taking his game to that next level. Like I think that just goes to show you that he can continue to get better. Again, he's only 26, so
the point where it's like consistent now, so it's not even like, it's like second nature. I don't have to, like, what's it called? It doesn't take much. It took cutting out the sweets. I don't eat sweets. I eat like a couple cookies, but I don't see it on my face. I don't see it on my body. Like, even if I eat a lot, it's not like showing up anywhere. Like, I like that.
I wonder when exactly the switch flipped for him and how long of a process it was to fully get in shape.
Like I went out to a restaurant a couple of days ago, and I took a picture with a waiter, and he showed me. He was like, "This is from 2023." He showed me. I was like, "Ugh."
Yeah, here, what? Look at this side by side comparison when it comes up.
I can't believe, like, bro, like it was. I had my locks.
Look at this. He is so much slimmed down from this right here. It's unbelievable. He's really a credit to him.
I was just like, wow, like, bro, like, it's crazy what a difference in 2 years can do. Like, I look like a completely different person.
Yeah. All right. I think we get the general idea. But again, they didn't just extend Jordan Davis for his play on the field. They extended him for the person he is as well. What are you guys talking about in the chat right now? Y'all are arguing about AJ Brown. Oh boy. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. What else we got on Jordan Davis just in terms of the cap stuff? We have this tweet from Zach Berman talking it gives a quote from Eagles defensive line coach Clint Hurt about Jordan Davis and just how he was able to get in shape this past year. So I'll read that to you guys as well. So here it is. He says, late in the season, I was chatting with Eagles D-line coach Clint Hurt about a different topic when Jordan Davis came up. Hurt's face lit up, and he said he wanted to set the record straight on something. Hurt. Not a lot can piss me off, but what pisses me off when everybody feels like, well, it's a contract year, that's why he did it. I've heard that a couple times. I grind my teeth because this didn't happen in the offseason. This actually happened in the middle of the 2024 season. This is when the Peloton stuff came out and when he kind of found himself in what he needed to do to be the best version of himself. So it wasn't like, all right, this is the time to go get a contract, because this started way earlier than that. It's changed his life. That's a man that's changed his life and committed to a better version of himself. And his game is still doing this too. So yeah, it's the maturity part. And I say that not in the negative. He wasn't immature before, but it was like, continue to grow and just figure things out. Still that young, playful, big kid at heart. All those things are part of him. But it's now the seriousness that I got to take my personal life and my career over to take it to where I want to get to. And now he's owning it. So yeah, that's a great quote from Hurt there. Again, huge credit to Jordan Davis, just like committing to getting in shape. And yeah, I mean, you saw what it did for him last year. Now he's earned this big contract extension and it's well worth it. We're very fortunate as Eagles fans to have the defensive tackle play that we've had over the years. Like, we had Fletcher Cox for such a long time, and now we go from Fletcher Cox to Jordan Davis, and hopefully we get Jaylen Carter wrapped up as well. Although I think one of the interesting elements of this is like, okay, you extend Jordan Davis to this huge extension, $26 million a year, 22.7 with the fifth-year option included. Jaylen Carter is going to be more expensive than that, because, like, as great as Jordan Davis was, when Carter's healthy and he's locked in and he's focused, like, I still truly do believe he has the potential and the talent to be a defensive player of the year level player. But, you get Jordan Davis's extension done first. It makes you wonder what their plan is with Carter. Like, are they going to pick up his fifth-year option and not extend him this offseason? Or are they going to try and extend him this offseason? And then, obviously, like, I don't know the whole cap situation, but it just sounds like you pay Jordan Davis, you're trying to pay Jaelan Phillips. You already got all these other big contracts on the books, and then you got to pay Jalen Carter on top of that. It's like, I'm not exactly sure again about the whole cap situation, but it does make you wonder how that affects things. And also there were the reports that came out yesterday, which we're going to talk about a little bit, that they were potentially considering trading Jalen Carter for Maxx Crosby, which I don't know if those are true. And again, we're going to talk about that. But again, it does make you think about, okay, you extend Jordan Davis. Now, what does this mean for Jalen Carter? And I'm going to go on record saying I hope they extend him too, because I think he could be a defensive player of the year one day if he locks in, stays healthy. But yeah, we'll see on that. But let's read some of the chat here. Run the Trap says, hey, Evan, when it comes time to choose between Q and Coop, who do you want us to keep, or do you think it's possible to keep both? Again, it's really hard to say, because I don't know the ins and outs of the cap situation like that. Like, I'm not a cap expert by any means. And that's a really good question, because I think Q is one of the best lockdown corners in the league, if not the best. But then Coop, like, he's locked down as well, but then also his ability to affect the run game at the nickel position. And just, I think he gives you a little more versatility there. So I don't know. I hope we don't have to choose between both. I'm going to continue to say that I think they're going to try and extend both, but we'll see what happens. And again, it's like, you can't pay everybody. You pay Jordan Davis. You want to pay Jalen Carter. Maybe we'll see. I mean, who knows? Because it's like, you got to make these hard decisions. And again, they're trying to pay Jaelan Phillips. So that's 3 guys right there. Say they sign all those guys. Can you also pay Q and Coop next offseason? I don't know. I have no idea. But this is why, we got the best GM in football, maybe the best GM in sports. I think the best GM in sports. So I trust him to make the right decisions. But yeah, let's see what else, if there's anything else on Jordan Davis's contract, and then we will switch topics here. But yeah, again, love this move. Super happy that they got it done, especially before free agency. I didn't even really, I guess I did touch on it, but this is projected to clear like $9.3 million in cap space ahead of free agency. So I can only, obviously that's a great move to give yourself a little more space and flexibility so that you can maybe try and bring back a guy like Jaelan Phillips or, sign other guys. And then I would assume they try and cut Michael Carter here as well pretty soon because he's doing that would save them about $8 million, I believe, as well. So we'll see what happens. But again, great move to get done and a great time to get it done as well, right before the start of free agency. What's going on, Power Lion? Appreciate you being in here. I remember you being in my streams in like 2022. So shout out to you, bro. Let's see here. Yeah, let's pull this up. Ugh. A couple more details on the Jordan Davis contract. Here we have Philly Nation with two tweets. He says, hold on, make sure it's on the screen. He says the Jordan Davis extension will get worded as a 4-year extension, including the 5th-year option that they picked up last offseason, which again we already talked about. Eagles will be saving cap space in 2026 with this extension in the $5 to $8 million range compared to the $12.9 million cap hit number he was on the books for previously. So again, I think the numbers are still to be determined in regards to how much cap space the Eagles actually saved with this move, because obviously we don't really know the specifics of the contract yet. But it was projected to be about $9.3 million before the deal got done. So that's good. And then he also says if the Eagles continue to do contracts like they have, Jordan Davis will not have a cap hit charge over $10 million until 2028, which is likely the last year there will be guarantees in this deal. If he continues on the trajectory from 2024 and 2025, he will likely get another extension or two based on his age. Talking about a player of his caliber taking only around 2.8% of the team's cap space during the duration of the contract. I mean, again, so that really puts things in perspective. Like, he's only taken up 2.8% of your cap space. Like, that's amazing. And especially if he continues to play at the level that he was playing at last year or even better, well worth it, in my opinion. So again, overall, love this move. And it seems like all you guys do too. And I appreciate all you guys, 90 of you people in here right now. So make sure you guys hit the like button on the stream. Again, appreciate all you guys. But let's switch topics now. Because as much as Jordan Davis was the big story of the day, but the underlying story of this entire offseason has been AJ Brown. And honestly, guys, like, I couldn't tell you what's going on there, and we're going to talk about it. So he reacted to the Jordan Davis extension here on Instagram, posting this. Just a little story. These 3 emojis here. I don't really want to sit and try and decipher if these emojis mean anything. Like, I feel like it's just kind of a pointless exercise. But yeah, I mean, in regards to the AJ Brown trade noise, there's been so much, especially the past couple days. I mean, really these past 2 weeks, there's been a ridiculous amount of stuff to come out about that. And especially, again, these past 2 days, it's like, it's really hard to know what to believe and what is real and just like what direction things are going to go. I have continued to say that I think AJ is going to stay. I mean, you see something like this and it's like, okay, I mean, he's congratulating his teammate. Like, again, I don't want to read too much into it, but I just think based on the things that AJ himself has said this offseason, the terrible cap hit the Eagles would have to eat if they did trade him, the reports about the Eagles wanting a 1st and 2nd round pick and no other teams wanting to do that. Like, I feel like just everything, and also the Eagles have said that they want to keep him. And there's also been reports saying that AJ has been, in good spirits. He has been upstanding, just the way he's been interacting with the organization recently. Like, I just feel like all of it points to him staying. And there's also been things saying that that they wouldn't move off of him. They don't need to move off of him for any team chemistry reasons. So I really do think he's going to be back. But again, there's been so much stuff coming out the past couple of days. It's been ridiculous. It's honestly been crazy. And Fredo says it here. We'll find out tomorrow about AJ, and that's likely the truth because I feel like if a move does happen, it's going to happen within the next couple of days. It's going to happen probably, the remaining few hours of today or tomorrow, because free agency starting and teams want to know what their financial situation is going to look like before they go into free agency and sign a bunch of players. Like they're going to want to know if they can get AJ Brown or if AJ Brown's going to be on their roster. And same thing for the Eagles too. Like I'm sure the Eagles want to have that figured out by the time they go into free agency. But let's see if I can find. I mean, I know there's been a ton of different reports on AJ. Let's look at this Mike Garafolo thing, because Mike Garafolo, I feel like, has been one of the main people to give insight on the whole AJ Brown thing, and I feel like he has consistently said AJ is in a good spot. I think it's more likely that they keep him. But then we have this yesterday.
Right now, AJ, if you had to say right now, AJ is either traded or not traded, which is it?
Hold on, let me take a sip of my
Wawa coffee.
Final answer, like Regis Philbin, final answer?
Final answer. What is your final answer?
R.I.P. Regis, my former Fox Sports 1 colleague. I think he gets moved.
Yeah.
I think he gets moved. And it's got to happen. Today's Friday. It's got to happen in the next 2 days. So
there it is.
Buckle up today, Ant. Let's see.
Final answer. You're the greatest.
Hasn't happened yet. And I don't know where that's coming from, too. Like, why is he all of a sudden flipping? Why is he flip-flopping? I don't understand. I really don't. Again, it's really hard to know what to believe. There's other stuff as well. I'll pull that up too. He also talked about the Patriots, because the Patriots are obviously the main team that's being floated around as a destination. Ian Rappaport here. I'll play this real quick. He says that it's either going to be the Eagles or the Patriots. I think this was Thursday. Yeah, he said this on Thursday.
So this certainly seems like it's going to be the Patriots or the Eagles for A.J. Brown, with an answer likely coming pretty soon.
So you have that. So much stuff out there, guys. Like I'm excited for this to be done. And again, nothing's happened today or yesterday. So we got one more day to go. But here we have Mike Garafolo again talking about A.J. Brown. He specifically talks about the Patriots. Apparently the Patriots made an offer. I actually don't think I've watched this clip, but let's watch it. And Fredo actually says it here. The recent report from Hosing. Who's Hosing? Are you saying Josina Anderson? Is the Patriots won't move off a first rounder with floated other assets to include in the deal? Okay, I don't know. Let's just watch this clip. What does Garafolo have to say about this?
Latest that you hear.
Howie is holding firm. And now you're seeing teams like Buffalo that were in it saying, got to grab the old bird in the hand versus the two in the bush, right? And now really all eyes are toward New England right now to see if that's a possibility. And because, the connection there, it's been talked about, and they definitely have been talking to them. There's no question in my mind. And they have to make a decision because they're coming up on free agency here. And Alec Pierce has been a guy that's been mentioned in connection to New England. I've had people go, Pierce's deal is already done to New England. It's that time of year where it's like, okay, we're still 3-4 days away. I'm sure that there's been talk between the Patriots, and even though there's not supposed to be, talk between the Patriots and Alec Pierce. So, at this point, we're coming close. Now there's a couple of ways this plays out, right? Maybe you get to the start of the league year and Howie goes, okay, like we're keeping him. He's in the fold. And then we get closer to the draft and maybe it rekindles. And then we get into training camp, the season. Now you're after June 1st, which I know is preferable from a salary cap standpoint. There's a couple of ways that this could play out. And frankly, it's a challenge for Howie to figure out how to do it, not just from a personnel salary cap standpoint, but from a personality standpoint.
Well, okay, number one, I really hope this doesn't drag on in the draft and past this. Like, I hope we just get an answer tomorrow, whenever, and that's done. Again, I don't understand where this is coming from with Garofalo, because he's mainly been on the side of AJ's probably going to stay, and now it seems like he's flipped, and he didn't really give an explanation as to why that is. I don't know. And again, like it's there's been reports saying that AJ has handled this very well, throughout the offseason, and he's in a good place with the organization, but now he's saying here, personality reasons could factor into it. I don't know. Like, again, it's hard to know exactly what to believe and who to trust and where these things are coming from. It's crazy though, like how much stuff has been coming out. Let's see if we can find anything else. I know there was so I mean, that's what Garofalo was commenting on, but there's this tweet here. 100 people in here, by the way. Appreciate all you guys for stopping by. Make sure you guys hit the like button. But there was this report here from Anthony Gargano. He says the Patriots offered a first and a third round pick for AJ Brown. Howie Roseman said no. If that's true, I just highly doubt that he does get traded, because again, is the asking price is a first, a second, and a player. Like, it's a high price, and Howie, like they're saying, like he's not budging off of that. And again, like if he wants to be here, like if it's not like there's just a complete disconnect between the two sides and like there's no reconciling it, like that would be one thing, but it doesn't seem like that's the case. I don't see why you wouldn't bring AJ back unless you get an offer you can't refuse. But this is a pretty good offer right here, all things considered, and they seem to, I mean, the reports are saying that they declined that. So again, I think he stays. And John Warren makes a good point here. He says AJ will thrive in Sean Mannion's offense. And, I've said since Mannion was hired, I am really excited to see Devontae Smith in this offense, but I'm also really excited to see AJ Brown, because I feel like AJ can thrive going across the middle of the field. I think he did that a lot in Tennessee. We haven't really utilized it, I don't think, enough, since he's gotten to Philadelphia. But like he's a monster, and if you put him on a slant route, it's really hard to cover him doing that. And you can double him, you can triple, whatever, like you can scheme things up. But I think it's pretty obvious, like the past couple of years, especially 2023 and 2025, like the route concepts for the Eagles have been so basic. I want to see AJ given a more creative route tree, given more of these creative concepts that Sean Mannion's going to bring. Like, that's what I want to see. So I think it just makes so much more sense to keep AJ, again, unless situation's unreconcilable. But I don't think that's the case. So I don't know. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. Fredo says, I don't like Cilio, but he showed us the text with Patriots director of personnel. Pats are offering a 2 and a 3. I didn't see that, so I can't really comment on that, because who knows? Maybe that was the guy. Maybe it wasn't the guy who, I don't know. I can't really comment on that. If that's the case, then obviously the Eagles are going to decline that. Yeah, but again, I think AJ's going to stay. I could be wrong, but I think we'll find out. We'll find out probably tomorrow. What are you guys saying about AJ? Powerline says, personally, I think AJ is going tomorrow to New England. Round 1 and 2 picks. Do I want him to go? No, but I think he will. Also, I feel New England released Diggs for AJ Brown. Yeah, but also, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on with Stephon Diggs that maybe you would I mean, you're not going to cut him in the middle of your Super Bowl run, but you might cut him after the season. So I don't know. I mean, that could have something to do with it for sure, but I don't know. John Warren says, or he'll be traded in October. This is getting exhausting, man. Midas says, as far as we know, AJ, Nick, and Howie could be laughing at all this BS because they know he's not going anywhere. That's also true. And that's a good point here. 1258 says, Alfredo, with the dead cap hit, I'm not changing my demands. We need a, my gosh, English. I'm not changing my demands. We need a first and second. And I completely agree because, again, if you trade him before June 1st, you're eating $40+ million. On top of, like, you could lose Goddard, and if you do, that's $20 million. Yeah, man. I mean, the situation's frustrating. I'm excited for it to be over. I think he's staying. Could be wrong. We'll see. Probably by tomorrow. But let's move on from that because I know everyone's probably sick of talking about it. So we got some pretty huge news last night just around the NFL. Obviously the Eagles were linked to Maxx Crosby all offseason, but here it is. Last night, Adam Schefter, Raiders agreed to trade 5-time Pro Bowl defensive end Maxx Crosby to the Baltimore Ravens in exchange for 2026 and 2027 first-round picks. So, I mean, I didn't know, honestly, like, I didn't think that Crosby was a sure thing to get traded. But, obviously it happened, and 2 first-round picks is great value for a 29-year-old coming off a pretty serious injury. But again, game-changing player, like, not saying he's not worth that. It's just, Raiders are smart to take that price. And now Crosby gets to go to a good team, or a team that has, I guess, high aspirations, still having Lamar Jackson there. Like, they're always going to have high goals with him. Add to that pass rush and make Joe Burrow's life even harder. But this was interesting because last night I was actually making a short talking about the report that came out saying that the Eagles were open to trading Jalen Carter for Maxx Crosby, which I would have said in the short, I don't think that's a good idea because, again, Carter's 25, Crosby's 29. Crosby's coming off a serious injury. Carter's obviously had injuries as well, but it's just like I don't see why you would give up on Carter so early. But again, this Jordan Davis extension, it does make you think a little bit like, okay, what are their long-term plans with Carter? Are they still going to extend him this offseason? What could that extension look like? Or will they pick up his 5th-year option? Or who knows? Maybe could they be open to trading him since you do have so many other contracts you have to get done. Quinton Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, maybe Jalix Hunt if he ends up having another great season and gets to show some improvement from last year and breaks out even more than he did second half of last season. I don't know. There's just a lot of things to think about. Again, I want to keep Jalen Carter around. I think he's got the potential to be a defensive player of the year if he's locked in and healthy. But Anthony DeBona he makes the point in a different tweet that this could be, if they are open to trading Carter, it says something about, how they feel about his long-term health, which, I don't know to what extent his shoulders were seriously hurt last year. Like, I don't even know what exactly the injury was. I remember he got injections in both of them to be able to play through it. And I think he said he needed off-season surgery, I believe. I don't think we've gotten a report on that yet, but I'm sure it's happened at this point. But it is a question, and then people also question Carter's character and just that whole thing. I honestly think for as much as is made about that and the whole Dak Prescott Spitgate thing, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they do have concerns with him, but I just don't see enough to warrant wanting to get rid of him for as talented as he is. And he seems like, I don't know, I don't want to say that he's I don't want to claim that he's got character issues because I don't know the guy. And listening to him talk in the locker room and how his teammates talk about him, he seems to be very well liked, very well respected by his teammates. So it's maybe I think that whole thing is overblown. I don't know. I want to keep Jalen Carter around, but I guess we'll see. One thing that I did find interesting was I was, setting up this stream and I was trying to find the original tweet by the guy that said the Eagles were open to trading Jalen Carter, which came from a guy called Ricky Scoops with a dog profile picture. And you guys can let me know if my Twitter's just bugging out or something. But I was trying to find his tweet. I was trying to find his account. And his account doesn't exist anymore. And I don't even know if he was a reliable source in the first place. But I mean, this isn't a good look. If your credibility, this is not a good look for his credibility, in my opinion. I mean, his Twitter page is gone a day after this. Maybe this is just my Twitter being weird, and I'll try and see if I can find it again. But what happened? I mean, yeah, this is the guy yesterday. This dog. But then now he's gone. I don't know. Maybe that report wasn't legit. I know there was the whole thing about Micah Parsons talking not too long ago, saying that the Eagles almost traded for him, but they were going to trade Jalen Carter for him, and then he didn't want to be in Philly without Carter. But at the time, I kind of questioned that because it's why would Micah have any sort of say in what the trade looks like? I feel like the Eagles probably didn't want to give up Carter, honestly. That's what I said at the time. I don't know. I mean, again, I want to keep Carter here. I understand the whole dilemma with all the young players that you want to get paid, but I don't know. 1258 says we're going to pick up Carter's 5th-year option, and before next season, we'll give him a $35 million extension. That I could definitely see, and I think I actually agree with you that we're going to do the 5th-year option. The thing about that, though, is that if you do pick up his 5th-year option and you go into next offseason hoping to get an extension done with him, that's also the offseason where you want to get Quinyon Mitchell extended and you want to get Cooper DeJean extended. And, I guess you could say, well, you could activate Quinyon Mitchell's 5th-year option. And then extend Coop because, Coop was a 2nd-round pick. He doesn't have that 5th-year option. So, I don't know. I just that could be a scenario that maybe makes sense, but at the same time, you don't want to play around with a Quinyon Mitchell extension, especially if you want to keep him here if you 100% want to keep him here for long term. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't want to go ahead and try and extend Quinyon Mitchell as early as possible. It's just hard. It's a whole difficult situation with, the money and the cap stuff. They got a lot of guys that have earned big paydays, and you can't pay everybody, but at the same time, you don't want to lose really good players for nothing, and you want to keep these guys on the team for as long as possible. It's a hard thing to do, but again, I trust Howie with whatever. What else do I got here? I got a little bit more here. Okay, so obviously we've talked about the Jordan Davis thing. We talked about the A.J. Brown piece. We talked about the Maxx Crosby trade, Jalen Carter. But free agency is about to start in a couple days. And, obviously I think the Davis extension was just the first big move of that because it clears up about $9 million in cap space. But you have to wonder what's next. I don't think it's going to be a Jalen Carter extension, honestly. I could be wrong. Again, I don't think it's going to be an A.J. Brown trade. Could be wrong. But Thomas R. Peterson puts out this tweet. Says the Eagles reportedly clear $9 million in cap space by extending Davis, which I already talked about. Again, by cutting Michael Carter, they will have around $30.5 million in cap space. I don't know if those numbers are actually accurate after the updated salary cap. But, I could be wrong there. But he says Jaelan Phillips extension could be next. And, we've been talking for a couple weeks now about how Jaelan Phillips is the Eagles' number one priority in terms of their own free agents. And, it makes sense. The Eagles, they build their team from the trenches. And last year, the pass rush was really struggling for the first half of the season. They make that trade for Jaelan Phillips. And then, they kind of have a little breakout and they become a top 5 pass rush in the NFL for the second half of the season. And again, Phillips was really what sparked that turnaround. And he's a great fit in Vic Fangio's defense. I believe he was top 5 in pressure rate last year, even though the sack numbers weren't always there. He apparently loved his time in Philadelphia and he wants to come back. So it makes sense that they would prioritize extending him, and you want to have that star pass rusher on your team because obviously you extend Jordan Davis, but he's not a pass rusher. He's a nose tackle. He's going to stop the run. He'll give you some pass rush, but it's you can't rely on him to be the main guy there. And obviously from the defensive tackle position, you want to have a guy out on the edge that's a bona fide star at that position. So makes sense that they want to extend Jaelan Phillips. And there's this tweet here from James Simone. And James, I don't know how reliable of a source he is. He's got 1,534 followers, 20,000+ followers on Instagram. He calls himself an independent Eagles and 76ers writer, NFL draft reporter. So I'm not super familiar with him. I mean, he has this tweet here. He broke I guess this is. So again, who knows if he actually knows what's going to happen. But he says here, I don't expect Jalen Carter to be the next Eagles news. Hearing they're scouring the trade market for a defensive back or edge, Jaelan Phillips re-signing could happen today too. So obviously that didn't happen. But again, I think, it's clear. Like they really like Phillips. They want to keep him here long term. But it really just comes down to the exact price at the end of the day. And you guys are talking about it right now in the chat. Hold on. Let's get the Derek Gunn report because I just saw this. Derek Gunn replied to the Maxx Crosby trade. And he's I was saying how I don't really know if James Simone is a super reliable source, and no knock to him. I just am not super familiar with him. But Derek Gunn, obviously reliable source. He says, in regards to Maxx Crosby, he was never coming to Philly. Raiders' asking price was too steep. The Eagles' main priority remains diligently working on re-signing Jaelan Phillips. So, there you have it. I mean, official report from big name reporter saying, yeah, this is what the Eagles are trying to do. And we've heard this again for the past couple weeks. So pretty clear that they want to get that done. But it's going to be interesting. And again, you guys are talking about it in the chat right now. It really just comes down to the money. John says Phillips didn't impress enough to warrant $20 million. I think $20 million a year is fair. Philly 416 says apparently he wants $27 million. That would be, again, I don't know the whole ins and outs of the salary cap situation. I don't know exactly where the market's going, although I know pass rushers are getting big time money. I don't know if he warrants $27 million, especially because, again, he didn't have huge sack numbers, even though, again, the pressure rates and just his ability to get after the quarterback, it was great last year. He just didn't get a ton of sacks. I'm going to sneeze. Hold up. I've been sick the past couple days as well. I don't know if you can tell by the way I'm talking. What was I saying? Yeah, 27 million is pretty steep. 27 million per year. That's a lot. And again, when you talk about extensions that the Eagles got to get done, they just did Jordan Davis. If they want to get Jaelan Phillips and they sign him, say to like 22 million a year, or they do 27. Let's just say they do 27, which I think that's probably a little high. And if that's the number he ends up getting, he'll go somewhere else. But then you sign Jordan Davis to this big extension. You sign Jaelan Phillips to a huge contract, and then you want to get Cooper DeJean, Quinton Mitchell done next offseason. So it's like, what does that mean for Jalen Carter? What does that mean for some of these other guys that also are going to be up for contract extensions, like a Nolan Smith? Like, we haven't even talked about him, and this past year, was kind of a down year. Who knows what they're going to do with him, because he's a good player as well when he's healthy, but he's had health issues, and he's only had one really outstanding season. It's a tough situation. Plus, Jelix Hunt again. So they got a lot of decisions to make. One other thing with Phillips is the injury history. And again, it's a risk paying him $27 million because even though he is young and he does get after the quarterback consistently, he had back-to-back years where he had very serious injuries. So it's definitely a risk for sure. But I'd love to have Jaelan Phillips back. It's just got to be for the right number. And if you're going to bring him back at the expense of Jaylen Carter, I wouldn't do that personally. Because, again, I think Jaylen Carter's got potential to be defensive player of the year level player. But, yeah, and then in terms of some of the other free agents, obviously the top four guys are Phillips, Nakobe Dean, Reed Blankenship, Dallas Goedert. Goedert we've talked a ton about here on this channel. I honestly have no clue what's going to happen with him. I feel like it's more likely that he leaves, but who knows? I mean, if AJ's gone, I think it's more likely that Goddard's back. If AJ's back, I know I just froze. If Goddard or if AJ's back, then I think it's a little more likely Goddard goes. Like, it's, again, tough decisions have to be made for sure. But again, I would love to have Goddard back. Obviously, if he leaves, you're eating $20 million in dead cap, which is really tough to do. I'm sure they want to get a deal done. So who knows what's going to happen there? But we'll see. I do want to bring up this tweet because James Palmer put up some of the free agent tight ends. Again, I've talked about some options to potentially replace Goddard or the very least get you some depth at the tight end position, because maybe you're not getting like a number one guy like a Dallas Goedert, but you get a depth option like a tight end number two, like Jonnu Smith, for example. Isaiah Likely would be a good one. He could definitely be your starter, but again, I don't know what the price looks like for him. David Njoku is one we've talked about. We talked about Zach Ertz. You see all these other names here. Like, they're going to have some options on the open market to get at least some depth at the tight end position. And then obviously they need to draft somebody 100%. But, we'll see what happens with Goddard. Again, I feel like that's very up in the air. And I'm going to have a video out tomorrow talking about free agency and all these different guys, just giving my opinions on what I think could happen. So you guys stay tuned for that. But we do have a couple updates from Jeff McLean on Nakobe Dean and Reed Blankenship that I want to briefly go over. So here we go. Commissar Peterson tweeted this out. Per Jeff McLean, Nakobe Dean and his agency were told to come back to the Eagles if the market isn't as expected. They want him back, but he will test free agency. So, I guess on the surface, it's like, oh, there's a chance he might come back, but I think he's definitely going to get paid some some big money on the open market by some team out there, and the Eagles just are not going to be able to bring him back. And it sucks because I think, again, like Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean is another one of those guys who not only is a great player, but he's a great person to have in the locker room, great leader, good energy. So it's going to suck to lose him. But again, you can't pay everybody. Not everybody can stay. And you got Jihad Campbell. He drafted in the first round last year on a rookie contract. Like, I just think it's more than likely that Nakobe Dean is going to be gone, and that's pretty much been the consensus here, past couple weeks, really, going back to the combine. But I'd love to have him back again for a good price. It's just I doubt it, and in all likelihood, it's probably not the smartest thing for them to do. Again, considering all the other guys they have to get paid. And then as far as Reed Blankenship goes, he puts this out. He says, per Jeff McClain, Reed Blankenship is not expected to return to the Eagles if his market value hits 10 plus million. So, again, it's a little bit up in the air as to whether Reed Blankenship is back. I honestly have no idea what Reed's market value is, because I think if he was going to be a free agent, say last offseason, he would have definitely got paid 10 plus million, I think. But this past year, he definitely had a down year, especially in coverage. He dealt with some injuries. So, I think Reed's a good player. I don't think Reed's a star, but you can't have a star at every single position. He's also another guy that I think is a high character guy, good in the locker room, good leader. He's definitely the leader of the secondary at this point. So I think it would be good for the Eagles to get him back, even though, again, he's got his flaws, but it's like, he's a good player. He's a good, not great player. But again, it's got to be for the right price. I genuinely have no idea what his market value is. I've seen Spot Track say, like, I want to say $6 million a year. I can't remember. I might honestly just be making that up, but I've seen like $6 million a year. I've seen people say $12 million a year. I genuinely have no clue. I think Reed probably wants to stay. So maybe he would take a little bit less to return, and obviously, stay, keep the exciting whites together, keep the podcast together with Cooper DeJean. But who knows, honestly. Like, again, it's all very much up in the air. But I'd love to have Reed back. It's just, again, got to be for the right price. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat, and then I think we're gonna get out of here. Again, I will have a video tomorrow, but I appreciate all you guys for hanging out with me on a late on a Saturday night like this. John Warren asks, if Goddard is a free agent, why are we eating $20 million in dead cap? Yeah, I mean, I wish I was a cap expert and I could explain it to you coherently and tell you exactly why that is. I don't know. It's just for whatever reason with the way they structure the contract. If he leaves, we eat $20 million. I don't know why, but that's just the way the contract is, which is weird. I haven't really heard of that before, but yeah, I don't know. You think we pick with our first pick? It's a good question. We're going to talk more about that as we get closer and closer to the draft. And I've started, especially with the combine, doing a little bit of looking into some of these prospects. I don't have a specific name for you. I think offensive tackle's definitely up there. Could be an edge rusher depending on what happens in free agency. Could be a tight end if what's his freaking name? Sadiq falls. I don't know. Those are the three top positions, or safety maybe if Reed leaves and we need one of those guys. And I know the safety class is really good. Midas says, I definitely think Reed would take a pay cut to stay. Yeah, again, I agree with you. I think he definitely wants to stay here. He's undrafted. He's played his whole career here. He's established here now. He's become a leader for the defense and specifically the secondary. That was try to say especially and specifically at the same time, and that's what came out. I don't know, guys. But yeah, I think Reed, there's a chance he would take a pay cut to stay. Other than that, guys, I appreciate you all for hanging out with me. Again, Jordan Davis extended. Great news. Awesome glad the Eagles got that done. And Howie, we trust. There's going to be a lot of hard decisions made over these next few days. We're going to see some major changes here to this roster. We could see more extensions. We could see an AJ trade or not, which, again, I don't think we're going to, but we could. And, guys are going to leave in free agency. We'll make some signings. It's going to be fun, and I'll be covering it all here. So, again, make sure you guys got your notifications turned on. Like the stream if you haven't already. I would greatly appreciate it. And look out for a video tomorrow talking more about free agency and just giving my opinions on what I think is going to happen. But yeah, all that being said, appreciate you all for hanging out with me. And yeah, go Birds. And I will catch you in the next video. Peace.